I'm wrong in the last...
Involve some sort of guilt towards certain terrorists, like Hezbollah or Hamas or, I don't know, name another one, Al-Qaeda or ISIS. But the world doesn't like terrorists, and that includes Hamas and Hezbollah. But obviously people don't want to risk their lives in order to get rid of them.
But who's the terrorists is the question.
Hezbollah and Hamas, I just told you. Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
There are terrorist states as well, right?
No, that is not.
Norm, are you saying that it is impossible for a terrorist state to exist?
No, I'm saying there's no such thing. That's not the definition of terrorism. If you don't know the definition of terrorism, we can read it to you. It includes the words non-state actors. So that's for number one.
Hold on. So when a state cannot operate and use terrorism?
A state cannot be a terrorist because the definition of terrorism is non-state actor. What's your next question? Unless you want to go in circles a few more times. I mean, I haven't ridden the merry-go-round since I was a little kid, but it sounds like you want to go. Just look it up. I agree. So what's the PSYOP? What's the world's delusion? What are we talking about here? Or is this another endless hole of mirrors? MJ, I'll mute up. What did you want to say?
I'm just saying that the information across the continent.
What information? That was the question.
Right. The understanding of the genocidal acts being committed by the state of Israel.
Nobody is saying that Israel's committing genocide. That is incorrect.
No, well, okay.
Well,
he's saying that he saw a lot of protest, demonstration, support for the Palestinian state, anti-Israel sentiment. When
now you understand the PSYOP. The PSYOP is many allegations of genocide, which is absolutely ridiculous. No one even actually claims that. Now the new claims are that it was a Zionist plot to call it genocide, because not only is there absolutely no possibility of Israel eliminating the Palestinians, Israel has been avoiding civilians. Hence, that took 3 years to kill 70,000 people. So this abundance of allegations, which is getting you to say, well, there's stuff, big narratives, what's happening here, why are people saying that? That's the PSYOP. Welcome to the PSYOP. You can't give me a shred of evidence that Israel...
Well, hold on. Don't these European nations have strict guidelines as to to prevent misinformation from being circulated throughout the world? Are you saying that given those institutions that are within these national nations to prevent misinformation from being disseminated through the media, are you saying that the states are a part of the PSYOP? Like the British state, the French state, and the Italian state, like these states are. I understand that these nations have institutions that prevent misinformation from being disseminated within their media.
This conversation will go a lot faster.
No. It was very important.
No.
Are you aware that these institutions exist?
Okay, MJ, this conversation will go a lot faster if you respond to what's being said, as opposed to trying to reframe the conversation in a way that you're used to these conversations going.
I was asked when I saw Europe. I'm sorry.
So MJ, listen carefully.
I was asked that question.
MJ, listen carefully.
By moderators.
Not MJ, listen carefully. I'm a moderator, and so is people. Listen carefully. You cannot find me a shred of evidence that Israel has attacked a civilian. The fact that there's multiple allegations, the fact that the states that you're claiming would be there to prevent it haven't prevented the false allegations, does not get to the heart of the issue. So once again, you're going to swim in these waters of you saying they're allegations, they're in Europe, Europe prevents this, don't they? Fact checkers, but you haven't provided a shred of evidence, because no one has, because it doesn't exist. So that is the PSYOP. The fact that you fell for it, I feel bad for you, I'm sorry. But multiple allegations without evidence doesn't make it stronger. That just makes it a bunch of points.
No, but what I'm not asking.
I think the problem is that MJ doesn't know what genocide is.
I'm asking.
Answer MJ's question. It's an easy question to answer. So, do they have stricter rules that can publish and not publish in France, for example? Yes. Okay. But does that necessarily mean that they are the arbiter of truth and objectivity in the world? No. And do you know what, for example, okay, how about this? Does the U.S. Push propaganda around the world?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Radio America, baby!
Of course.
And China. Okay, yes, so we're on the same page there. Do you know what Duganism is?
Danny
No,
Dugan.
like, what's Dugan?
Yeah, he's the guy who
Okay.
killed his the Ukrainians killed his daughter. So
Dugan-
Alexander Dugan.
Dugan is
spin
kind of like an
dominated,
advisor to Putin, and he pushes a lot of like Eurasianist type of philosophy, very in line with, you know, Putin's foreign policy and Russia's foreign policy about how the natural state of Europe would be to align with Russia, and that a solidified like Iran and China would be great for Russia and the European economy, and Germany could, you know, use its manufacturing, and Russia could use its vast resources. And if it weren't for the big bad America, then, you know, France would be strong, like they're meant to be, right? And so that is very, very attractive to French people, to German people, in a period where they feel kind of castrated by Americans, under the thumb of Americans, etc., while their economy is failing. And so that is why you will see a lot of pro-Russian kind of talking points. Some of it's organic, and some of it is spanned, you know, by Russian influence and money. For example, Candace Owens works with a very populist guy named Xavier Coussard in France. They are full on Dugonists. They just had a conference with Putin and Dugin in Russia like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. But a psyop
$10
is
says he didn't hear a word you said, by the way. He's going to say the same thing again. $10.
I'm gonna let's.
But we're talking
We're
about
operating in
a
good faith
psyop.
here.
What was said was there's a psyop is a planned military political action designed to influence thoughts, emotions, and behavior in these countries that are designed to assure that the dissemination of misinformation is not done within their borders. Wouldn't those institutions have to be
France has a
completely
national
independent?
interest that isn't directly aligned with American interests, right?
But
And so
that's the question
sometimes-
directly. No, it absolutely
They
not. An arbitrary
There's
truth.
competing narratives and powers talking
Well, there
through
is
France, and
objective
France
truth.
deciding
That's
how
not
to
trying
work. Sure. I mean, like philosophically, I agree that there's an objective truth. But in terms of geopolitical narratives and influence campaigns, these are countries fighting each other through information.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. And no, the defenses of a democracy against misinformation and disinformation aren't perfect, and one would have thought that anybody would know that. That's your question.
But would it,
I
would
think
it
it's-
if
I
there
think
was
it's pretty-
misinformation as it relates to genocidal behaviors and acts on the part of the state of Israel, and they were not being actually done, do you not think that those institutions would intervene?
Well, that's a great question. This
Well,
goes
I
back
know
to my
for sure
original.
they would have.
Name was, wait a second.
I know for sure.
Name was, yeah, the answer is no. But name was, wait a second. I think what you're showing is that you've fallen for you've drunk the Kool-Aid without ever asking yourself, what is genocide? And that's the mistake number one. So why don't we talk a little bit about what you think genocide is, and then rather than drinking Kool-Aid, you can make an informed judgment for yourself. Is that
Let's
fair?
do this very straight, which MJ is trying to avoid.
I'm
Do this straight,
talking
MJ.
about
You're-
misinformation. I'm talking about if there is a psyop and the misinformation is allowed to go through these institutions.
Yeah, you've said that a few times. What about it,
Then
though?
they must be complicit. So
No,
they
so
must
maybe
they
they
must be a
fail.
part of the conspiracy.
Or else they
Okay.
failed, right?
MJ.
Are they a part of the conspiracy?
Maybe they failed.
According to the people who believe in the psyop.
Maybe they failed. Does those words mean
All of
anything?
them have
Nameless,
failed.
wait a second.
Multiple
Nameless.
institutions have failed
Failed.
in the same
Yes.
way.
No,
Oh.
they fail in a lot of different ways.
Yes, they fell in the same way as the president. MJ, this is
I'm
the first time in your
I'm
life.
trying to get clarity as to
Right.
the perspective on
Yeah.
how these
You're not trying to
institutions
get
are
clarity.
and their ability
You're
to
trying to
prevent
You're not trying to
their
get clarity.
citizenry from being
No.
influenced by
MJ.
misinformation.
Okay, good. You said that 15 times. How do
Yeah.
we figure out if the systems work? So let's look at the accuracy of the claim versus what information flowed through. So for the last time, because we particularly do not want to have this conversation directly, you're very not ready to have a direct conversation. You just want to have a bunch of circular
I'm
information around
addressing the
this claim.
psyop accusations.
No,
sir.
MJ, the way to address the PSYOP operation is simple. As information, which is clearly untrue, filtered through. And if you were honest about that, the answer is yes. Because for the last time I've asked you, do you have a shred of evidence to get genocide? Because that was intentionally done to distract us to have a stupid conversation. The real conversation is there any evidence that Israel has gave one military order that said to kill civilians without it being a military objective, well within the rules of war? Like you're gonna hit a target, and a small amount of civilians are going to be a collateral damage.
Oh,
One,
you saying
we don't have one.
the dead children
We
are all
actually
the same.
listen clearly. We don't have one piece of evidence that says that. Now let's look at the circumstances of evidence. We have a very strong army that was capable of taking out a regime 2,000 miles away, was capable of hitting the Houthis out of 2,000 kilometers away, but their neighbors, they weren't able to kill 70,000 people in 3 years. And now that people are being honest, we're finding out that not only is there a one-to-one militant to civilian kill,
I don't think he knows what that means. You better explain it, nameless.
Okay. In urban warfare, when fighters dress up as civilians and hide behind civilians, the chances of accidentally killing civilians is extremely high. If you're trying to kill civilians, it's very easy to kill civilians. You just drop bombs. It's very easy to kill. If you're trying to kill a militant and you don't care about killing civilians, then in typical war you end up being 9 to 10 to 1. Kill a militant, and if it kills 10 civilians around them, you don't care. You're getting a 1-to-1 ratio. For every militant you kill, you only kill one civilian. That is unheard of. It's turning out that Israel has done even better than that. If you have a powerful military that takes 3 years to kill 70,000 people, Iran did that over a week. It doesn't take that long to kill people if you're trying to kill them. So you don't have a military directive. You don't have circumstantial evidence that proves to you. All you have is a bunch of people screaming genocide, and then you're trying to jump around and say that proves to
But the 70,000 includes natural deaths and the militants.
Okay, so it's Clubhouse, it's been years, we've had many is it genocide or not conversations. I'm afraid we're going to go down that rabbit hole. To MJ's point, I guess where I have a question for him is what institutions in Europe are claiming that it is a genocide?
Well, no.
I'm not saying no. The institutions are not there for that. The institutions, again, are there for preventing misinformation from being
he's
given
claiming that
to
it
the media.
wasn't as genocide.
And so if there was a style, hold on. I'm not finished saying what I'm saying. Why are you saying what I'm saying?
Which is said in 9.
Well, you said it 3
Hold
times.
on.
But I guess, hold on, you guys. I want to get somewhere with it. So let him answer.
Yeah. All I'm saying, if these nation states have these institutions, and yet and still their media is still providing details of genocidal actions.
Well, they're not doing that. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on,
They're not doing that.
hold on.
No, don't give me the hold on, sir. Don't
Okay,
base
I'm gonna
don't
bounce
base
my
questions
turns into
on
this.
You don't respect your own. Don't base questions.
No, okay, so you're saying, yeah.
I mean, stupidity is painful to
Otherwise, we
encounter.
can just say everything is axiomatic
I'm
and
not
not have a
even voicing
conversation
an
at all.
opinion. I'm
Yes.
strictly talking
So, but
the
MJ,
idea of a style and if it is real or not.
Okay, so why don't I respond to that?
so, but can I for a second? One second. So, I mean, the institutions, there's a lot of freedom of the press in European institutions, right? So they can publish things and make statements and opinions and call it a genocide. They have, free speech, maybe less in certain ways than America, maybe more in certain ways when it comes to what you can actually publish. So I don't think that giving opinions based on facts, claiming that it's a genocide is in no way illegal. In France, for example, I don't know about the rest of the country. So while they might have a higher bar or something or evidentiary duty, I'm not a journalist at all, they can still, of course, claim that it is.
And so you're saying that if there was misinformation, these institutions would fail at capturing it in
Facts. And you can claim that it fits the legal standard of genocide. This is just
so you're saying there are
things.
there are objective facts that the medias of these countries are allowing to go through their system, their institution that is supposed to prevent this information. That the logic
There are no institutions that prevent this information.
No, your question makes no sense.
As genocidal.
Paige, you're walking down a path of nonsense.
Okay,
Because you
MJ,
thought it was a psyop.
We can move on.
It was a psyop in every country.
The motherfucker brothers are sides again.
No, you're the one.
Allowing for the information to split. They will all have to be
It's a level of stupidity that hard to even.
individually, and I find that to be
It's a
amazing.
level of dumb that I can't even, it's hard to even fathom what you're asking.
No, to be honest, what he said very clearly was that there is freedom of press and they have the right to print things.
They have the right to be wrong.
They have the right to be wrong. But now, how do we assess if these institutions that don't even exist?
By looking at the facts.
Wait,
They don't exist.
MJ.
Nameless, they don't
No,
exist.
these institutions that make sure that you only get pure, actual, true knowledge don't exist. He has repeated that to you multiple times. First of all, in Europe, there's freedom of press. Second of all, they have their agenda. She mentioned Duginism and one way to the end. So I'm going to go straight to the point. I repeated this many times, I want you to die. How can we assess if these institutions that you're claiming exist are actually working? What would be the direct way to figure out is misinformation making it through?
He lost him.
What metric would you use?
He's just gonna keep repeating himself.
Are you
He's
okay?
just gonna keep. What the
Take
fuck
your
is
vitamins,
wrong
bro.
with
If the
you?
convo flows, it's
Go take your vitamins,
interesting.
Grandpa.
What's wrong with me is talking to stupid people. That's the problem.
I thought
Very
Talking to
nasty
stupid
people.
people is
Very
my
nasty.
thing.
It's my thing.
Stupid. I think we're getting
Very
somewhere.
nasty
You're being
racist
far
in the
too
Senate.
generous.
Very nasty racist.
Nobody cares. Nobody
Yes,
cares.
I know, it's racist, I know. Stupidity is racial now.
Very nasty.
Good job being good. Stupidity.
Very
Wait,
nasty.
let's just let MJ answer the question. What would be the way to assess if these institutions even exist, let alone if they're working? How can we assess that?
$10 says he doesn't understand the question.
It's
Okay.
very easy to assess if they exist. It's very easy to find which institutions in European countries are responsible for preventing the dissemination of misinformation. That is quite easy. So we would have to look at. We would have to think. Excuse me. You ask me a question again, and after every 3 words, you interrupt me.
But we're trying to get you to
The first
answer the
part-
question.
Part of your question. Hold on. What is this?
Did you understand the
You
question?
guys can talk. I'm going to. You got.
Okay, it's nice hearing
Talk
from you.
amongst
Did you understand the question?
I tried them.
There is
Did you understand
a
the
crime
question?
because this is the behavior of people who have things to hide.
MJ, that wasn't.
No, this is
that
the
was-
behavior of people who lose their patience with stupidity.
MJ,
Like,
that
you didn't
wasn't
understand the
the
question. It was very
That wasn't the
simple.
question.
What's the metric for this?
I'm gonna go to the audience.
It was nice talking.
Okay, so,
There's a
I mean, that
strong
was
sense.
impossible.
Yeah, there's a strong sense that if you just browbeat people, that will make the American people agree with a war that's not in their interest. But it turns out that that's not how this works.
No, actually, what we proved was that if you repeat something over and over and people have no evidence for it, they fall for it. So keep repeating more choice and there was no.
Oh,
Had
It's fun.
MJ would have realized that
Very
the way
nasty
to
people.
assess, that's wonderful. The way to assess if these institutions are working is being fought away from. That there is even misconduct, and his only evidence of misconduct was assuming this, but they're on the ground. So when he's ready to walk down a rational argument and show me how this information that is completely untrue is disseminating, then he's going to have to admit that there are no institutions that are stopping inaccurate information. Inaccurate information is getting through, and then try to figure out.
We will see if the American people are browbeat into supporting the war and they don't support
They don't
it.
have
I mean,
to support it.
I
They don't have to support it. It's irrelevant.
She's only going to tell us, including on stage.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation was interesting because I think MJ had a strong trust for European institutions, and I understand why there would be kind of that impulse or perception, but I just think that maybe he was not familiar with some of the layers of European kind of geopolitical dynamics as well. Just because they're not in this war doesn't mean that they don't have major national interests in terms of who they support, why they would be less on the side of Israel in a war, and why they have cultural movements that are going more towards Russia. Like, I think we were getting somewhere, but with all into being kind of ruined that.
Well, You were at a level that I don't think you was ready for. I was just trying to say, how do you assess this? I'm trying to go through straight logic, and this is the way you start the conversation. And the fact that you can repeat a slogan over and over and over and not have realized that you have never even seen a shred of evidence for it is a good place to start and realize where you're being manipulated.
I want to give you a corollary, okay? Because this Palestinianism is just the new transgenderism, is just the new climate change. So, for example, the institutions of Europe somehow convinced themselves that adopting ridiculous regulations, as with the Paris Climate Accords, would somehow affect global warming or climate change or whatever they're calling it now. There was a mass kind of hysteria, and they were wrong. They were wrong. So there's your answer. And then the institutions of Europe believed that boys could become girls, and girls could become boys, and boys could get pregnant, and you could cut off kids' genitals. They believed that. And then it turned out that they were wrong. So in recent memory, there are many examples of mass delusion, mass disinformation, mass hysteria, the spread of a social hysteria or social mass media, psychological infection, the sociological delusion. There are many, many examples of it. So, and Palestinianism, which is not a belief that the Palestinians discern. Yes, it's called a neologism.
All words
And it is taken. All words are not necessarily. Yeah. No, this is called, it's a neologism. So Palestinianism is the advocacy of a state for a people who have demonstrated numerous times that they don't want a state. The real purpose of Palestinianism is the so-called Palestinians or the Arabs of Gaza. That's what Palestinianism is. So what we're fighting is a form of mass hysteria called Palestinianism.
I think though, if we get a conversation, we're having a conversation about Europe and media dissemination in Europe, institutions in Europe, and we go directly to this is why Israel is so right here, it muddies the waters into what we're actually talking about, and it gets it away from what is good for America, and then it loses people very quickly, right? And so I think it's just important to hit the actual points head on versus going directly there.
Yeah,
and especially not getting emotional.
I agree. I'm also super surprised that there are still people today who think that these institutions are capable of keeping pure information or even trying to keep pure information. We have seen from history, going all the way back to the Weimar Republic, the more you try to control this information, the less accurate the information gets. So even though in America we have a bunch of stupidity floating around the ether because we have such a free press, true information does get through. But the fact that you think that Europe would be pure because of more restriction, it's just mind-boggling. I didn't think I would still be having this conversation today.
I mean, I think it's seen as an objective in between intellectual place, right? Like they're not really on the stage in the same way anymore, but they are known for their intelligence, and maybe they could provide an objective whatever. But I think without proximity to the undercurrents of European culture and kind of their national interests, it's without that it's hard to see kind of what's going on underneath.
Pete, why do you think most Americans are against this?
With Iran or with?
I mean, according to some polls, nobody likes war.
Are there polls where most Americans are for?
Nobody likes war. Polls are not accurate. The idea that we're going to make military decisions based on polls is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. We don't make military decisions based on polls, especially based on uninformed people who don't care about these matters. And by the way, we're being led down the primrose path with somebody. Excuse me. We're being led down the primrose path by someone who's made up of an imaginary. Aren't there institutions in place to make sure that the information is? It's a nonsensical question. What we should be looking at is facts, not whether some hypothetical spend an hour discussing some person's hypothetical who doesn't care about the answer. In
So
any
let's
event.
look at the facts. Let's look at the
Why don't we
numbers.
let
Yeah,
let
let's-
Pete
sure.
respond? Why don't we let Pete
Sure, we
So
can look at facts.
I think the economy is very uncertain. I think inflation is high. I think access to housing, having a stake in the economy right now, the sentiment for that is that it's not possible. And then we see people, we see a war that is more abstract, and not many people see it as an immediate threat. And people say, well, why in this moment in time would we add this on? From the Afghanistan and Iraq wars, and people see those as useless wars. And so those sentiments all combined tends to make people lean toward more of a isolationist path. I think there's also kind of distrust in, he's gone, but I'll just finish, distrust and confusion about whether the United States is an exceptional country or a bad country.
Well, Pete, what people would love to forget is that the abundance that we enjoy in America, the dominance that we enjoy, the cheap fuel that we enjoy, the incredible prosperity that we enjoy, is dependent on the United States being the defender of the rules-based order. The rules-based order includes a freedom of information, the internet, which we defend. It's not in the cloud, it's in cable. Democracy versus totalitarian to defend democracy. So our Muslim allies are lining up with us because they realize that the United States is their biggest country, and the United States and Israel are their biggest defenders. And this is why all of the GCC or Gulf nations have now aligned themselves with Israel and the United States, with the possible exception of Qatar when it comes to Israel, and have recognized the Islamic Revolutionary Genocide Corps of Iran as their enemy.
To get out of their kind of emotional sphere and actually just have a conversation. Again, it's not about, the question wasn't, Paige, what do you think about this war? It was, why do you think Americans are against this war? And so, in order to be convincing, but one second, like in order for us to come together as Americans in a conversation about it, we've got to take the emotion out of it and actually, hear the other perspective and meet someone somewhere. And I think
they don't engage fairly. They don't
Andrew
engage
was
honestly.
engaging fairly.
No,
You didn't like his
he made up.
points.
No, he didn't really have a point.
He wasn't responding to
He didn't have a point.
And he was trying to use evidence that the A wasn't there, and second of all, was not evidence for the thing. And when I tried to walk him down that path, he kept going around in a circle. So I don't think he was being deceptive and intentionally lying.
I can get.
He wasn't being honest.
I do.
Following the thoughts of the conversation.
Then why do you share stages with other known Jew haters and shit like
We make our own
Hold on a
decisions.
second. Hold on. I fully and thoroughly reject the idea or notion that I have any problems with Jewish people.
You're a Jew hater.
I grew up
Okay.
I grew up in an area.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Strong Jewish community.
Doesn't mean
next
anything.
door neighbor.
Right.
I think it's
The
outrage.
childhood friends
Meaningless.
I've ever had was of Jewish ancestry.
Nobody
I
cares.
attended more than 10 bar mitzvahs in my life.
Yeah,
Attended
nobody
synagogue.
cares.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that means you're not a
I
Jew
ask
have
hater.
everyone
never had an issue
everybody
with the Jewish community.
stop.
That doesn't
Right.
make it mean.
The state of
Everyone-
Israel is not the Jewish community. The state
Yes,
of
Israel is the Jewish
is not
community.
the state of
You
Israel.
don't speak for us, sir.
The state of
You
Israel
don't speak for
is
us,
Just
sir.
a
anyway.
sovereign
Everybody
You
stop.
don't
state
speak for
How do I
us,
do
sir.
this?
It is not a reflection
How do I mute? I can't mute everyone.
No,
Okay,
no.
so hold on. Everyone, hold on.
Enough.
or
They
Fine.
have to
No,
in
more.
America.
Nobody's
Okay,
asking
thank
you to
you.
speak
I
for
reject
Israel or
that.
Jews.
Okay,
You
I'm
have
just
to.
going
Nobody
to.
cares. You're
No,
irrelevant
just
to this
3
conversation.
seconds. Give me 3 seconds.
Go ahead.
I'm going to step
Go ahead.
up. It got too crazy. I don't like hurling accusations like that around. Nice chatting with all of you, and I hope
Thank
that
you,
I
Paige.
hope it gets better.
You see what you did, Norman?
the idea that someone who has a problem with the way a state apparatus is conducting their
Sure,
foreign
you can do
policy
that. Many people
and their
do that.
domestic policy is a
Sure, many people do that. Do you accept the existence of a Jewish
is a
nation?
reflection of
Do you
any
accept the existence
ethnic
of a
bias
Jewish
that
nation?
someone would have.
Do you accept?
Absolutely.
Listen. We're not here for your
Absolutely
soapbox.
ridiculous.
Do you accept the existence of a Jewish nation? MJ, they're not very good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me hear you say it out of your mouth. No, I want to hear you say it. You accept Israel as the homeland of the
Existence of
not the
any
existence.
nation
No,
state.
no, the legitimacy of Israel as a Jewish
accept
homeland.
The legitimacy
Yes.
of the existence of
Yes.
any
Oh, not of
nation
Israel
state.
though.
If
Here,
people
ladies and gentlemen, I
within
made my
that
point.
nation have
Ladies,
decided
okay, I made
to
my
be
point.
sovereign.
Okay, you don't accept Israel. Any nation, but not
I
Israel.
do not
got you.
believe the
Fine.
state of Israel should not exist. I
I'm
believe
sorry?
the state of
Wait,
Israel
no, that
is
wasn't
functioning
That
improperly.
wasn't the
Okay,
question.
so
And
That wasn't the
State of
question.
Israel, that's my problem.
That
with
wasn't
state
the
of Israel.
question,
It has
MJ.
nothing
If you don't understand
Jewish
the question,
people,
just let me know.
Judaism, or the
That
ethnic
wasn't
group
the
of
accept.
Jewish.
That wasn't the question, though, MJ. The question was, do you accept the legitimacy of Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people? And the answer is no, which makes you an anti-Semite. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Hold on, sir. You can't answer for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I just did. Is it yes or no?
I think that
Yes
the
or
current
no?
state.
No, MJ.
Sir,
MJ.
I'm answering your
MJ.
questions.
No,
sir.
you're not.
Or you
No,
don't
you're
want me
not.
to.
Okay.
You want to
The
speak for
answer
me?
is yes or no.
Because you're a racist white man.
Yes, I'm racist. The answer is yes or no. I'm racist because I don't want to let you hate the
You're
Jewish
racist
people.
because you can't allow a black man
Because
to speak his
wait
opinion
a
on your
second.
stage.
Is the answer you
Why
are
you
on my
wanna
stage and
speak?
you are speaking? Is
That's
it yes
your
or no?
racism
A black man.
poking
You
at
don't accept a black man speak.
What
You
is that?
cover
What
your
was that
Jew
right
hate.
there,
You
Norm?
cannot cover your Jew hate.
Was that more
sir.
racism?
You. No. That was
Did
your
I give a
Jew hate, sir.
accent, Norm? Did I
That was
do
your
that to
Jew
you,
hate,
Norm?
sir. That was your Jew hate,
Your
sir.
racism is
So I'll
showing,
ask you
sir.
again. I'll ask you again.
And it
No, your
always
Jew
shows.
hate is showing.
That's what you
Your
are.
Jew hate is showing.
That's
Your
what
Jew
you
hate is
are.
showing, sir. I'm exposing
That little
you.
black
I'm
top that you did.
exposing you. It's all
That little
yes,
dark
I know. So
racist you. I don't even
which
believe
part
that
of
you're
the
Jewish.
quest that you are? I made it really easy for you. Should I make it even easier? Should I make it easier, MJ? Do you make it easier? Should I make it easier, MJ? Do you accept the legitimacy of Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people? Yes or no?
I believe that
No.
the current state of Israel and the land
No,
that
I
it
didn't ask you
encompasses
that. I'm not asking you for a speech. I'm not asking you for a speech.
I'm
I'm not asking you for a speech.
Don't
This
speak
is
for
not
a black
speech
man
time.
even though you're racist.
I'm not
Go on,
asking you
when
for
you
a
ask the black
speech.
man a question.
The black man,
go
the
ahead,
black
with
man,
his
the
mind.
black man, the black man. The black
Do the
the
job
black man
I
is not a
thought
part
you
of
were
the
doing 5
question,
minutes
though.
ago, sir.
The black man is not part
Show
of the
your
question, though, is
racism
it?
again.
I'm not asking you for a speech, MJ. What's the answer to my? Do you accept as the homeland of the Jewish people?
Israel is a homeland to Jewish people, Muslim people, and all kinds of
No,
people.
well, that's not
that
the
are
answer.
indigenous
Is
to that
it?
area.
That's not the answer, is it?
Yes,
though?
it is. The answer to the
That's
question
not
is
the
yes.
answer.
In addition to the
No,
Muslims
okay.
and
How easy for you?
other
It's a yes
people
or
that
no.
are indigenous
It's a
to
yes
that
or
area,
no,
it is
MJ. It's a yes or
it is
no,
their homeland
MJ.
as well.
Did you not understand the question?
I said yes. I
Say
said
it again. I
yes.
want to hear it again. Yes. Okay,
I
let's
said
start
yes.
with
In
that.
addition to
Now,
Muslims and other
hang
people
on,
that are
hang
currently
on,
being
MJ.
a part
Hang on,
of
MJ. Wait a second, MJ. I'm not
suffering from
asking for a
apartheid
speech.
in the
I'm
current
not
Israeli
asking
state.
for a speech, MJ. I'm not asking for your Jew hate to come out all at once. I wanted to
No,
come
I
out a
love
little bit at
Jews.
a time.
I just don't
You
like
don't, no, I don't think you do, MJ.
hypocrite,
I don't think you do love
hypocrite
Jews,
racist
MJ.
white men
And
like
I'm going
you,
to
sir.
tell you why.
You're no
Because you
different
don't
than
think the Jewish people deserve to have sovereignty in our homeland. So let me try it. Maybe I'm wrong. MJ, do you think the Jewish people deserve sovereignty in our homeland, Israel?
I believe that all indigenous people.
Yes
in
or
the
no,
area deserve
MJ?
sovereignty.
Yes or no, MJ? Yes or no?
I believe that all people that are indigenous to that land deserve sovereignty, including
Yes
the
or
Jewish.
so wait a second. So you don't believe that the Jewish people deserve sovereignty in our homeland?
I said
Or
I
you
believe
do?
all people in that area
So
deserve
you can't answer
sovereignty,
the question? I don't know what is
including
all
the
people,
Jewish
MJ.
ones. Sir,
MJ, why are you avoiding the question?
I
Is it
said
too
yes
hard
to
for
your
you?
question. I answered
No,
it
okay.
thoroughly. You
Well,
have
no,
a
you
problem with the way
Well, you
that
said
I
all
answered it.
people.
And
You
now,
believe, is that like all lives matter, MJ? Was that one of your all lives matter type answers? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, all lives matter.
Or do you
is a
accept the
racist
sovereignty? It's not all lives matter? Okay, so I'll try it again. Do you believe that the Jewish people deserve to have sovereignty in our homeland, the state of Israel, the eternal capital of which is Jerusalem? Do we deserve that sovereignty? Yes or no?
I don't believe that that area is only indigenous to Jewish people.
Nobody asked you that question. What about my question?
So
Did you not
That
understand
means
it?
that area is not only the homeland to Jewish
No, it
people.
doesn't mean that. Did you not understand my question?
I heard what you
Did you-
said and I answered you, sir. That land
No, you
is not
didn't, though.
only
It
the
was a
homeland
yes
to
or a
Jewish
no.
people.
No,
That
I'll
land
ask
is
you
the
again.
homeland to certain
I'm happy
Muslims
to ask you
and
again.
certain Christian
No, I'm happy
people
to
as well.
ask you again.
No, I mean, you would have been a hell of a prosecutor, man. You know that?
No, he's terrible at it.
He's great at it.
That land is the homeland to Muslim people and Christian people.
That
and
wasn't the
Jewish people.
question, though, MJ.
That
they're there.
And so all
The
of those
that
people
wasn't
should
the
be
question,
sovereign in
though,
that
MJ.
land.
So MJ, did you not
That's my
understand the
answer.
question? So you didn't understand the question?
That land is the
Yes.
homeland to Jewish people,
That wasn't the
Muslim
question,
people,
MJ.
and Christian
MJ,
people.
that wasn't the question. Running away from the question, MJ. So you do not accept
Take my
Jewish
answer.
sovereignty in our homeland. Do you think
You're not
do
the
you-
only
do you
people
believe-
that land is homeland to. Sorry.
Nobody asked you that question.
Those people deserve
Nobody
the
asked you
same.
that. Hate Jews.
I have no
MJ.
problem
And
with
we
Jews.
know it, and
I
you
just
know it.
believe that
So it's
other
not like
people
you have
deserve
a
the same
problem
right.
with them. You don't have a problem
Other
with
people
Jews.
deserve
You don't
the same
cause
right
you
to
problems,
Jewish people.
MJ.
Just
What
like
you
here
do
in
not
America.
accept is the sovereignty
I don't
of
believe
Jewish
that
people
Christians
in our
deserve more
homeland.
rights
I
in
get it.
America than
I
anyone
get
else.
it. I get it. I get it.
I don't
MJ.
believe Jews and
You're
people
gonna
in
have to
Israel
own
deserve
it,
more
MJ.
rights than
That's
anyone
totally
else.
fine. MJ, you understood the question. You refused to answer it. That's fine. But I'm just exposing it. That's all. Either we have sovereignty in our homeland or we don't. You don't accept it. That's anti-Semitic. You're holding us to.
Homeland as well.
So in other words, we don't deserve sovereignty. Well, why would other people deserve sovereignty in our homeland?
Because they're
What if
just
we
as
decide-
indigenous to that land as you are.
That's not the criterion, is it? Because they got
If
22
it's a
nations and
homeland,
all
that
of the
means you have
oil.
to do with indigenous
Because they tried to kill us. This is why Nazis, for example, were not allowed to have sovereignty, MJ. This is why the Confederacy, MJ, was not allowed to have sovereignty. Are you starting to get my drift, MJ? You know why the Confederacy, even though they were indigenous, didn't get sovereignty in the South? Because they were Nazis, MJ. Because they wanted to enslave black folks. Is this starting to ring true for you a little bit? Are you starting to get the picture, MJ?
The Confederacy,
You can't
the
just say,
Confederacy is
oh,
not a
all
religion,
lives
sir.
matter,
The
MJ.
Confederacy
All
is
lives
not
matter.
a religion,
All
sir.
lives matter. What does
Islam
religion
is a
have to do with
religion,
it?
and so is
What is
Christianity.
it? And a tribe and a people with a law and a land and a calendar and a cuisine and a founding document. Okay? Yes, the Jews have sovereignty in Israel. It's a tiny country, and Arabs and Muslims and Christians have sovereignty. There's Jewish people in
They do
Israel.
not.
Yes, they do.
They don't have the right to return.
That they're not in Israel.
I
They have
thought
to
you said they
return
had the
them.
same rights.
If they're
I
not in
thought you said they
Israel,
had the
they
same
don't.
rights.
Yes, they have the same rights. What do you mean return?
They don't have the right
How
to
can they
return, sir.
How
They
can
don't
they
have the
return
same
if
rights.
they're already there? How can they return if they're there? It don't make sense. It's stupid what you just said. If they're there, they have
To return.
Yes,
Other
Jewish people
Muslim
outside of
do not
Israel.
not have the right to return.
That's not right within Israel.
That's not the
right
same right.
outside
That's
of
all I
Israel.
said.
That's
They don't
about
have the same
no.
right.
In
I believe they should
Israel,
have the same right.
in Israel,
Because
the
those
right.
Muslim people should have the return, sir.
They're
because they're
outside of
indigenous.
Israel.
And they're
They're
just as
outside of
indigenous
Israel.
as Jews
Wait
in that
a
nation.
second. Wait. Foreign policy is up to the country. You don't give rights to people outside of your country. Mexicans don't have the right to return to America, right? Mexicans don't have the right to return
The
to
state of
Spain.
Israel
That's
has
up-
granted
what's that?
rights to
Yes.
people based on their religion, sir.
No, based on their identity as Jews, not religion. Now, Islam does distinguish between Muslims and non-Muslims. There are separate roads in Saudi Arabia, for example, in Mecca in particular, for Muslims and non-Muslims. So they do practice apartheid. And they did ethnically cleanse the Jews from their lands. There were plenty of Jews and Christians in all the Muslims' lands.
Right to return.
Well, how can you return if you're already there in Israel? Explain.
It's my ethical. I'm saying I feel like you guys are both repeating yourselves.
Well, I want to understand if MJ can explain to me how somebody in Israel would need to return. Explain that, MJ. How would you return if you're there?
If you're an
Respectfully,
indigenous
I actually agree.
person to that area,
You mean if you're
and
outside
you're
of
I
Israel?
agree.
Muslim,
Honest
you can have
perspective
the same right to
of-
return
kind of a
as
whole.
an indigenous person.
But they're not in Israel.
Jewish faith to to that area, sir.
But they're not in
The
Israel.
fact that that's not the case
That's your
shows a
opinion.
religious discrimination.
No, sir.
Why
There's no
do you think of
religious
Israel?
discrimination in Israel. Israel is a homeland for the Jews, and the people who live there have equal rights. People outside of Israel are not governed by Israel, sir. Get it?
Your nation state is
Equal
showing
rights in
religious
Israel.
bias, sir.
There's no religious bias, sir.
Absolutely.
Israel is the homeland for the Jews. For example, you have the right to Senegal. I do not. French people have
What?
the right to return to France.
What?
Yes, there are 7 African countries that will accept African Americans home.
So, are you saying that only Jewish people are indigenous to that land?
Never said it. You said it.
Okay, so those Muslims that are indigenous to that land don't have the right to turn.
Well, where are they? Who?
They don't have
Oh,
the right to
so you don't know.
Round
Okay,
round
so
three of the same
so you-
points.
Yeah. So you're not claiming
I'm through
that
with
people in
this
Israel.
guy. Shout out to my
So-
cousin Vinny.
So
You
you're not
prove it.
claiming.
Through your
you're not-
own words that
Oh
Israel
boy, you're just
showing
fucking.
racial
shut up.
bias
Okay.
in its
Vinny?
law. I mean, religious bias in its own law.
Did you
What do you mean by religious bias, sir? Israel is the homeland of the Jewish people. The other people who are there, who are not Jews, have equal rights. As you just shown.
Evan, I just hit you on the back channel. He's gone, Norm. He's gone.
I see. I'm in favor of hummus, Joe, in the chat, and I'm not delusional, Leanne, in the chat.
Norm, I do have one question for you because
Okay, one question
Dis-
time.
despite our disagreements
About what?
about a whole host of things,
Well,
including
about what?
some of the details of Israel. I mean, I'm also coming at this from like
I
a
don't know what
Zion-
details.
Zion-
You're being very,
I know,
vague.
I'm being a
Don't
little bit
characterize
vague.
don't characterize my position, please.
I'm not characterizing your
Characterize yours.
position. Okay, yeah.
So what do you did? So you said you disagree
I was
on
just,
what?
my point, what I was trying to explain was I also believe in like a Jewish state that is sovereign. Like I'm like a Zionist in this regard. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering where to you, what are the borders?
The borders are now what they have always been. Borders are wherever Israel draws them. Well, I'm not even sure I understand your question. So we have a border with Gaza, we have a border with Egypt, we have a border with Lebanon.
I'm just saying if like,
We have a border with Syria.
what are your thoughts on like the settlement expansions? Are you like
Well,
for this or
well,
against this?
Well, so you're a little bit familiar with whatever laws or treaties go Judea and Samaria?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
like
give
a
me-
little bit familiar with like area, like a little bit familiar with